As Trump's war clock ticks louder, is Iran's supreme leader quietly preparing for the unthinkable scenario where he himself is taken out and the regime must survive without him? Is Khamenei now building an in-case-I-get-assassinated power pipeline, mapping who takes over every lever of the state if a US or Israel strike goes straight for the top? Behind bunker doors in Tehran, who really takes power if the supreme leader falls? And how is Iran planning for that 0 hour while missiles and bombers move into place? As he shelters in hardened compounds, has Khamenei ordered a 4-layer succession maze for every key post, ensuring the system fights on even if top figures are wiped out? Are lists of replacements for the supreme leader, president, and security chiefs already written and sealed, turning Iran's leadership into a pre-planned relay race in case of war? While the world still sees President Pezeshkian at the podium, have hardline security networks quietly pushed him aside and taken over the real levers of wartime power? Is a 67-year-old security czar, with decades in the IRGC and parliament, now the man quietly running Iran's war machine while Khamenei watches from the shadows? As US threats of strikes intensify, a new report claims Khamenei may have already handed day-to-day wartime reins to a trusted lieutenant, effectively creating a shadow commander-in-chief. Back in January 2026, with protests raging at home and the risk of US strikes looming, Khamenei is said to have turned to veteran insider Ali Larijani to steady the ship. Since then, the 67-year-old security chief has effectively been running Iran's internal and external crisis management, according to the New York Times account of the power shift. President Pezeshkian was reportedly sidelined as real authority migrated into a tight security circle, leaving the elected government as little more than a public-facing facade. The report even claims that Pezeshkian now needs Larijani's clearance to hold key domestic or foreign contacts, underscoring how deeply the balance of power has tilted. Larijani is accused of crushing protests with lethal force early in the year and now oversees the policing of dissent and streets at home as Iran braces for an external clash. As Khamenei's aide, he is said to manage backchannels with Moscow, Qatar, and Oman, while also helping steer the nuclear negotiating line with Washington behind the scenes. Beyond that, Larijani is reportedly responsible for devising detailed plans on how Iran's state, economy, and security forces will be managed during a full-scale war with the United States. Born into an elite clerical political clan at the core of the Islamic Republic, Ali Larijani has long moved within Iran's most powerful inner circles. A former IRGC commander who later ran state broadcasting and then parliament, he has straddled the worlds of security, propaganda, and high politics for decades. He spent 12 years as Speaker of Parliament, mastering opaque factional deal-making and the art of balancing hardliners, pragmatists, and the Supreme Leader's office. Larijani also led negotiations on a 25-year, multi-billion-dollar strategic partnership with China, embedding Iran deeper into Beijing's economic and security orbit. He is widely known for his sharp mind, hardline instincts, and long personal ties to Khamenei, traits that now make him the supreme leader's go-to crisis fixer. Behind a public image as a seasoned technocrat, he has also been tied to lethal protest crackdowns and censorship decisions that shaped Iran's security state. Senior insiders quoted by the New York Times say Khamenei has explicitly tasked Larijani with one mission above all: ensuring the Islamic Republic survives whatever the US throws at it. During June 2025 12-day war with Israel, while reportedly sheltering in hardened sites, Khamenei is said to have quietly drawn up names of successors for himself and other top posts. According to the report, 4 layers of succession have now been mapped out for critical roles, so that if one leader is killed, another steps in, and another after that. Larijani himself is reportedly not on the formal list for Supreme Leader, because he lacks the senior Shiite clerical credentials that the post traditionally demands. But sources say he tops a separate, secret list of emergency power holders, people who could run the state if multiple succession layers collapse at once in a decapitation strike. These internal preparations come amid claims that US or Israel contingency plans now contemplate not only hitting nuclear sites, but also targeting top leadership figures, including Khamenei. Conservative analysts quoted in the report say Khamenei views Larijani as sharp, loyal, and uniquely suited to this juncture, someone he trusts to manage both war and succession risks. Conservative analyst Nasser Imoni said, and I quote, "The Supreme Leader fully trusts Larijani. He believes Larijani is the man for this sensitive juncture because of his political track record, sharp mind, and knowledge. He relies on him for reports on the situation and pragmatic advice. Larijani's role will be very pronounced during war." Unquote. Inside Iran's security system, planners are said to be assuming US strikes are now inevitable, putting regular forces and militias on their highest state of alert. Ballistic missile launchers are reportedly being positioned along Iraq's border and Iran's Gulf shoreline, within range of US bases and logistics hubs across the region. In recent weeks, Tehran has closed swathes of its airspace for missile tests and even briefly shut sections of the Strait of Hormuz under the cover of live drills. On February 17th, Khamenei warned that even the most powerful military could be slapped so hard it would be knocked off its feet, a thinly veiled jab at US forces. While Trump masses carriers, bombers, and stealth jets around Iran, Khamenei is quietly hardening his own side, dispersing launchers, reinforcing bunkers, and rehearsing retaliatory strikes. From handing day-to-day control to Ali Larijani to layering succession and war plans, Tehran is trying to build a political and military shield that will hold even if the first US blows land at the very top.
$25 करोड़ गरीब गरीबी को परास्त करके बाहर निकले।
For the good of our nation, let's work together and let's truly make America great again.
The fastest news breaks.
Requested PM saying that look, you will have to speak to Putin and to Zelensky.
The biggest news makers.
The relationship with India is probably the most important bilateral relationship the US will have for the rest of this century.
The capital delivered quite an election result today.
Expert analysis.
The million-dollar question today is how to stop this dance of death.
Ground reports.
I'm standing at the crossroad of the Kumbh Mela. Behind me are more than 100 entry guards.
Long-form interviews.
Exclusionary politics is reflected in Manipur case as well. You don't bother because this is a small state.
Deep dive into burning issues.
It's often said DRC could be the richest country in the whole world. It's because of what sits underneath.
Why exactly did the US topple the Sheikh Hasina government?
HD videos. We don't just break news, we break it down.